Hello people, and welcome to Crypto Exposed. XRP mentioned twice in Amazon AWS Ripple Showcase. Okay guys, let's get into it. Okay, so wanted to cover this because as soon as I saw it, I thought this is another good prime example to show you in terms of, being able to fish out the content creators who really do their due diligence and who will just post anything for the engagement. So look, I just want to say something before I get into this, right? Obviously, you guys know I'm an XRP holder first and foremost. So I hold XRP. I'm very optimistic on XRP. I want XRP to do well because I'm invested in it, obviously. And so I just want to make this clear, I don't do this for enjoyment, right? Like when I'm covering all these things, it's not something that gets me a whole load of views. It's not something that is really fun for me because I'm an investor. So I would love some of this stuff to be true, but I just want to show you guys the truth. That's it. Because I know for me, when I was in the early stages of XRP and I hadn't done my own research, I was getting shown a lot of stuff that was inaccurate. And I was just the kind of person I don't just want to be fed lies. I just want to know the truth. Like, I would much rather know the truth than keep believing a fantasy. And then that leads me down a path where I end up getting messed up financially because of it. So just understand, for me, this isn't like a fun thing. I'm not like an XRP hater. I'm an XRP holder. I want all this stuff to be true, but it just isn't. So I want to just go through this. Okay, so what are we talking about here? So Amazon AWS is basically like a web service. And it's been mentioned that they've got a page, that Ripple have got a page on their website talking about what Ripple does, etc. And this has now been shared, and it's got people in a bit of a frenzy talking about how, they're working with Amazon, etc., etc. Now, first and foremost, the thing that I will say is this has been around for years. This isn't new. That's the first thing I will say. And secondly, this isn't what people think it is, right? So this is what I want to try and explain to you guys. So in terms of AWS, Amazon AWS, it's basically like a web service, right? That, corporations, etc. can pay for, right? And by paying for them, you become a partner with Amazon. And because you're like a big corporation, if you're paying for this service, they'll give you a page because you're someone who works with Amazon. So this isn't like a thing of they've made this partnership to use XRP or anything like that. This is just that Ripple use the AWS service, which they pay for. And so they get basically like a profile page. So it's kind of like, imagine just paying a newspaper for an ad, right? Imagine you want to put your ad in a newspaper. So you pay the newspaper for this ad and then you put your business in the ad. So it's going to sound really good and glamorized because it's the company talking about themselves, right? So if I was going to pay for a newspaper article, for a newspaper ad placement, I would pay them the money. Then I'd say, okay, cool. What is it that you want us to put in this ad, right? And then I would obviously write a quick summary of my business. But of course, I'm going to make it sound as appealing as possible, right? Of course. So this is really all there is actually to this, right? There's no secret things going on where they're going to use XRP or anything like that. It's really nothing more than that. And so once again, you've got some influencers who are bringing this up, talking one, it's new information, this hasn't been around for years. And also this is some huge thing. And this is why I say, if you really want to start fishing out the influencers, this is why I give you guys this kind of information. You guys can now sniff this kind of stuff out and start to look at, okay, who are the people who are saying this? Okay, so clearly these are people who've just either haven't done their due diligence before making their posts or whatever, or their videos, or they're people who they know it's bogus, but they just want to get the engagement, so they're putting it out anyway because I know it looks real big and it's going to get a lot of attention. So I saw like a post here on Reddit, because I do go on Reddit from time to time. I used to post on there, but you know, it's a bit of a cesspool at times, to be honest with you. It can be a bit difficult to stay on there. But I saw people talking about this, and there was one post on here which to me just summarized this absolutely beautifully. So I am just going to read this out, because there's another part of this. There's something about like a service or a company called Bedrock that apparently Ripple are looking to use with Amazon. But again, this isn't this isn't no big partnership or anything like that. So I'm just going to read this post just because it's basically saying what I'm saying and exactly what I think. So this guy's named Arismic, and he put, "This is the most important news for the XRP community. Not because the news itself is something remarkable, but it helps you to see how knowledgeable your favorite XRP influencers are. Reddit, Twitter, or YouTube. In any platform, anyone making content or sharing this news as a big thing is an outright red flag. They have no clue on the technology, how things work, and are even not willing to do a 10-minute search to find out what AWS is and what the term partner means in AWS network. The worst part is, many of their followers and readers blindly believe it. Most of this information is recirculated in XRP since 2018 and debunked, yet people still fall for it." Yeah, I absolutely agree. And this is why when I saw that, I was like, you're taking the words right out of my mouth. Because I knew I was going to do the video as soon as I saw the news come out. And like, as soon as I saw this guy, I'm like, this guy's like-minded. This is exactly what I wanted to say when I was going to cover the video. So just one last part to it, just to give you this last bit of information. Amazon sells AWS, which provides web services, hosting, and cloud computing. Customers can optionally pay more to join the AWS partner network, and most large corporations using AWS are part of this ecosystem. Bedrock is another service offered under AWS. AWS has over 100,000 partners, while Bedrock has around 7,000 companies using it. Ripple is one of them. The news here is simply that Ripple is a customer of Amazon using AWS and Bedrock, nothing more than that. And so the reason why I've given you that breakdown is because Arismic knows a bit more about like the Amazon 100,000 partners and 7,000 companies. I didn't know it to that much detail, which is why I wanted to show you guys that. But obviously, the general sentiment I was very much aware of. So yeah, look guys, this is a nothing burger, unfortunately. And again, this is nothing to get excited over. There's nothing to this at all. So all I'll say, as I always do say to you guys, is just check who you're listening to. Check who's giving you the information. Because if they're trying to package this as like, oh yeah, you know, Amazon and Ripple, this great thing, and it's not. It's just not. And so, as I said before, I take no fun in this. Like, this isn't going to do me, you know, this isn't going to be a video that goes viral or anything like that. It's not going to really get that much views, but it's just the truth, you know? It really is just the truth. So, that's all I'm trying to give you guys. That's it. And, you know, you may want to try and attack me for it and knock me down and whatever, but it's just the truth. And I'm a holder like you guys. I would love this to be some secret thing of, you know, this huge real partnership, but it's just not. So I'm just giving you the truth. That's all. So I'm just going to leave it there. But once again, guys, there's nothing to this. Ripple are just using Amazon. That's it. And so because of that, they've got a corporate profile. The corporate profile is Ripple talking about themselves. That's why it sounds, you know, so glamorous. Which, don't get me wrong, Ripple is obviously a big company, so they've got a right to big themselves up. But what I'm saying is, like, this isn't Amazon speaking on Ripple or anything like that. This is just Ripple pretty much paying for their own ad, right? It's just them talking about their own business. So yeah, once again, nothing really to see here. Let's just try and get back to the reality, right? Because don't get me wrong, the reality isn't $10,000 and all that kind of stuff, but the reality is still positive. You know, it's still positive in a realistic sense. So to me, that's what I, you know, like. I would love to have more positive content in that sense. That's just realistic. But yeah, that's just the way it goes, right? But yeah, guys, hope this has helped. Thank you very much for watching this. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit that bell. Take care.